on Ian versus Daddy Bones, we're about to dropkick June into next fucking year and wrap it up with more Turtles of Grayskull.
Fuck Ian Daddy Bones. Fuck Twin Widow, whatever the hell it is. No one gives a shit about you, Ian. Everyone hates you. Fuck off.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. Having a banger and you're all invited. Share with friends and I'll see you later. Bring everyone, invite my haters. Throw your hands in the fucking air. Let's push a cripple down a flight of stairs. Got new shit right for your ears. My Hadouken is downright fierce. Rock out with my cock out. Jump around, I got your shout outs. I'm Daddy Bones, no need to panic. Talking riddles like a schizophrenic.
Welcome back! It's another exciting episode of Ian versus Daddy Bones. I'm Ian Daddy Bones. I'd like to welcome everybody to the show. For everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook right now, hey everybody, what's going on? As always, I got a special high five and an up dap to all my Facebook and Patreon subscribers going above and beyond, supporting the brand for $2 to $3 a month, respectively, getting access to bonus content. Thank you all very much. I hope everybody is doing wonderful today, this week, whenever the fuck you're watching this episode. All I know is I just celebrated a birthday over this past weekend. I turned 45 years fresh, so I want to say thank you very much to everybody who took the time to wish me a happy birthday. Jump on my social medias, tag me in a post, go on my wall, make a comment. Thank you all very much for taking the time to reach out, engage, and interact. And speaking of engaging and interacting, thank you very much again for another outstanding performance month when it comes to me growing and leveling up my brand. My reach on Facebook as of right now is officially over 100,000. And I am very thankful and grateful for that. Like, seriously, at the end of May going into June, my reach was like 24,000, 30,000 at best. So the fact that in 30 days, my reach went from 25,000 rounding up to over 100K. Thank y'all very much. Like, my performance is going up, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all taking the time, checking out the show, especially last week's episode 75, 5-part extravaganza, mega, pun intended, event where I brick build He-Man's Sword of Power, and that was absolutely amazing. And I'm going to tell you something right now. When I was brick building that He-Man's Sword of Power, that was before I was able to jump on an opportunity where I was able to capitalize on a Mattel Creation sale, and I was able to grab the Mega Snake Mountain playset after waiting a year for the same Mattel Creation summer sale to go down, because last year I grabbed the Mega Castle Grayskull, which is on deck to be started soon on Ian versus Daddy Bones. I'm probably going to make it through the summer with everything I got in the background right now. But when the kids go back to school and it starts getting a little chilly out, I think that's going to be the perfect time to do a gigantic brick build on the scale, the size, and the level of the Mega Castle Grayskull. And the Mega Snake Mountain is just as huge and gigantic. And last year, I was able to get the Mega Castle Grayskull on sale at like 35% off. This year, I was able to do the same thing and capitalize on the moment, seize the opportunity, was able to grab the Mega Snake Mountain, get it out in the mail, and I was able to split that into 12 payments over the course of the next year, but it's not going to take me a year to pay that fucker off. So I just needed to get it in the mail with zero money down, even though it wound up costing me like $30 out of pocket to secure it, to get it out of mail, to get the ball rolling. But either way, I already started making payments on the motherfucker, so the Mega Snake Mountain is officially secured, and that's going to get built on sometime in the future on the show with Ian versus Daddy Bones. But like I said, 75 episodes since I started what was at the time a new project, a new way for Ian Daddy Bones to move forward from the original version of the Original Geeks podcast, to move forward from professional wrestling, and to move forward from everything else that went wrong and went shit in the background over the years. I'm back on my feet, Pete, doing my shit, and this is episode 76 of Ian versus Daddy Bones. So with that said, we're officially, like I said at the beginning of the episode, we're gonna drop kick June into next fucking year. And with that said, we're gonna wrap it up with Turtles of Grayskull, Allies and Assholes. Now I do gotta say, real quick, I kind of feel like an idiot because I have the 4 figures in this wave on the table. But as I sit here, it popped into my head, I forgot one important thing that was going to be a part of this episode, and that was the most recent Turtles of Grayskull figure I was able to add to my collection. So real quick, shout out to my homie Jim for securing and finding and grabbing me the Turtles of Grayskull Mossman. So now I am up to date on the Turtles of Grayskull Mossman, but also I want to share Jim's pain real quick because I'm feeling for Jim, because in a way it also affected me too. But the other day, now normally with the loop of what I'm doing, whether or not I'm working or if I'm at home being dad with my babies, you know, if it's me and the Sadie show and it's me and Sadie and I'm taking care of Sadie while the kids were at school and my wife is at work, basically when it was me and the Sadie show, like, she's got a routine and a pattern that usually involves a nap time. So sometimes when I'm trying to lay my daughter down for a nap and get her to fall asleep, I will also fall asleep and wind up taking a nap. So in one of these afternoons where I fell asleep and took a nap, and I'm pretty sure it was like one of the days last week where it was just hot as fucking balls, and with it being hot as fucking balls, like, the humidity was off the charts, everybody was fucking miserable. But when I woke up from said miserable nap, I had like messages from Jim that was like, OMG, ... Jim sent a picture, and I'm like, uh-oh, what did you find? And I clicked on the picture, and it was the Turtles of Grayskull Mer-Man, who is supposed to be hitting stores. So basically what happened was, Jim wound up ordering the Turtles of Grayskull Mer-Man figures, 2 of them, from our Walmart, and he went to go pick them up. But when Jim went to go pick up the figures, Walmart, on their end, they didn't have the 2 figures that Jim ordered. So in their place of the Mer-Man, they wound up taking 2 Turtles of Grayskull Krang figures that they happened to have on the pegs and put them in Jim's order bag. And Jim was furious when he got to Walmart and he wasn't able to get those figures. And I feel his pain completely because one of those Mer-Man figures was going to be mine. So Jim and I are still currently looking for the Turtles of Grayskull Mer-Man figures. But I was planning on having the Turtles of Grayskull Mossman figure here today because he looks absolutely incredible. Translucent green figure, and he's got this like purple armor that looks like it's got like bone and rock mixed into it, however the hell they want to present it with that ivory color. And he also has like these purple vine whips, and he comes with an alternate head that could also be used as like a shield, but it's like a Venus flytrap, open mouth, red and green, monstrous flytrap attachment. So once you have that popped onto that translucent green Turtles of Grayskull Mossman with the purple tentacle vines coming off him and shit, looks absolutely sick and is definitely one of the most bizarre, craziest figures in this Turtles of Grayskull line. But yeah, I forgot to bring fucking Mossman with me, so I'll have to incorporate Mossman on a future episode of Ian vs. Daddy Bones when I talk about future Turtles of Grayskull figures. But yeah, today we're gonna officially end June by discussing the last 4 figures that I have in my current collection of Turtles of Grayskull, and this is going to be part 2 of what I called last episode before the Power Sword brick build. I called it Allies and Assholes Part 1 because the first episode of with Turtles of Grayskull, I focused on the deluxe characters. Then I was able to get 2 different boxes of Ian showing up that completed the rest of my Waves 2 and got me started on my Wave 3 Turtles of Grayskull figures. So I was able to do a second episode where I was able to unite the 4 brothers, and I did that episode. And then the next episode was like a hodgepodge of like good guys and bad guys across Wave 1 and Wave 2, and doing the math that left me with a leftover villain from Wave 2, in addition to the 3 figures that I have remaining from Wave 3, because Michelangelo was the last remaining turtle I was waiting on, in addition to Raphael, who showed up in the same box, but I was waiting on Mikey to show up, even to be available for pre-order, so I can complete the 4 turtles. So now that the turtles are completed, now that I did the first episode of Allies and Assholes, where I focused on mutated He-Man, Man-at-Arms, mutated Ram-Man, and the Shredder, I am back today to talk about the final 4 remaining figures of Wave 3 with Wave 2 mixed in. And to start off with Wave 2, we got the Beastman. Now, Beastman, I've done a Beastman episode before on Ian vs. Daddy Bones. Feel free to go check that out in the archive. While you're over on the YouTube channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button. It's taken me longer than it should have, but I just hit 200 subscribers on the YouTube channel, so thank y'all very much. Everybody recently who decided to subscribe across the brand, I appreciate y'all very much, because y'all got me to 200 subscribers on YouTube. But on the episode of Ian vs. Daddy Bones that focused on Beastman, I talked about different versions of Beastman in my collection. Today I get to add another version of Beastman, and that's the Turtles of Grayskull Beastman. Now, luckily, I got the North American release of this figure instead of the international release that doesn't have any text on the back, so it's basically naked bare images showing you the picture, but there's no words or descriptions to go with it. But Beastman's packaging says, Beastman did not trust the alien outsiders the moment the Foot Clan set foot inside Snake Mountain. Rather than become Crank's next mutated experiment, Beastman escaped to strike a bargain with He-Man, and what he found instead left him shell-shocked. Now, this description is basically one of the balls that kind of gets it going as far as the story with what's going on with Turtles of Grayskull, because it says Beastman, undercover henchman. Now the figure shows Beastman wearing this blue and gold and white samurai armor, and he's got the shoulder armor, he's got the waist belt and the crotch armor. He also has the helmet, and he has this blue and gold turtle shell shield, which is pretty much a reoccurring gimmick with all of the Turtles of Grayskull heroes, and to a degree, some of the villains have the shell incorporated with their design and armor. But Beastman's rocking this samurai armor, which I'm not gonna lie, is kind of lame and basic to me, because it's just plain basic samurai armor. Like, if they made a deluxe Jitsu variant, I can see Jitsu wearing this armor. Even though it's a Ninja Turtles crossover, it still seems like a lazy crossover with Beastman. I feel they could have done better. Because basically, you're just throwing samurai armor on him. You know what I mean? You're not really mutating him or crossing him over with anything from Ninja Turtles, other than you're taking an element of the Shogun samurai armor that basically was what the Turtles was wearing in the third live-action Ninja Turtles movie that absolutely fucking sucked. That to this day, I still have not ever fully watched the third live-action Ninja Turtles movie from the 90s. I refuse to waste my time with it. But the thing with Beastman is, and the artwork on the back shows Beastman facing off against mutated Mossman, and Skeletor's face is in the distance, watching everything go down. But like it said, on the front it says Undercover Henchman, which is basically describing the action figure. It's Skeletor's henchman, and he's undercover because he's wearing this disguise armor. But like the back says, Beastman didn't trust the Foot Clan and the alien outsiders the moment they stepped foot in Snake Mountain. So Beastman was basically like, fuck this, I'm not getting experimented on. I am out, right? So Beastman took off and he went to look for the Masters to go strike a deal. Now, that event is actually in the mini comic that comes with the Wave 1 figures, because it's basically like I've said across the previous episodes, like the Ninja Turtles are fighting the Foot Clan inside Dimension X. Something happens, Raph doesn't think before he leaps, causes a portal to open that sucks everybody inside. The portal winds up bringing everybody to Eternia. It winds up farting out the Ninja Turtles over here, and it winds up farting out Shredder and Krang, Bebop and Rocksteady, and all the other guys over here. And basically, Shredder and Krang link up with Skeletor and Hordak, and they basically introduce each other to what is basically the same fucking thing. Shredder and Krang have the mutagen. Skeletor and Hordak have the slime from the slime pit. So they basically use Baxter Stockman tech to reboot and remake the Horde slime pit. They wind up using the mutagen, the ooze, and the slime on Trapjaw, which turns him into Mousejaw. Like I said, I've said this on the previous episode, so they wind up mutating the bad guys, but then they wind up capturing He-Man, Ram-Man, and Mossman, and they put them in the slime pit, turning them into the evil mutated versions that I talked about 2 episodes ago. So moving on to the good guys, like I said with Man-at-Arms. Man-at-Arms linked to Teela and whatnot, linked up with April and Casey Jones and the Ninja Turtles. So they used Grayskull tech along with Donatello's, scientific smarts and being a fucking brainiac, to augment everybody and upgrade everybody's armor to where the Turtles have this new Grayskull tech and the Masters now have this Turtle tech. So like I said, the Masters got their turtle tech, the Turtles got their Grayskull tech, and they're all complimenting each other's new outfit and gear and shit. And that's where fucking Beastman shows up. And everyone's like, oh, Grayskull's got an intruder, and it's fucking Beastman. And they're like, what are you doing here, you son of a bitch? And they're all ready to kill his ass. And Beastman's like, no, you don't understand. There's trouble and shit. And because, like, before Beastman showed up, like, they're trying to be like, we haven't seen He-Man anywhere. And so basically, Beastman tells the Masters and the Turtles that, you know, there's some weird shit going down. And he can lead them to Skeletor and everything. And I believe he said he can lead them to He-Man. Again, I flipped through still images of scans of these comics like a month ago. So I have the basic gist and understanding of what's going on and whatnot. But I haven't opened my figures myself. But I do know that Dark Horse Comics this fall is going to be coming out with a 4-issue Turtles of Grayskull comic book, which is going to break down this entire story the way it's meant to be explained and told. So take everything I'm saying, not with a grain of salt, but don't take everything I say as fact. I'm just giving you the basic understanding of what's going on with this toy line and why everything is the way it is. So Beastman's like trying to tell them, like, look, Skeletor met some fucking dickheads and they're up to no good. I need y'all to check it out because I think He-Man's in trouble. So Beastman leads the Masters and the Turtles to where Skeletor and Krang and Shredder are, and it winds up being a fucking trap. Like, Beastman was like, you dumb fucking bastards, I can't believe you fell for it and actually believed my ass. Like, come on, it's me, it's Beastman, why would you trust me? So, you know, they're all got dunce caps on their fucking heads now because they all feel stupid because they just got duped by, like, the dumbest of Skeletor's henchmen. So they're all trapped, and now they get to see Ram-Man and He-Man, and they're all mutated, and they're all like, oh my god, what the hell's going on? And that's pretty much where, like, the mini-comics, as of right now, have, like, trailed off. We don't know how this story's gonna conclude, or where the middle of the story's going to be, but basically that's just a basic understanding of how we are 3 waves deep into this toy line crossover with Masters of the Universe and Ninja Turtles. So like I said, we got Beastman wearing his, my opinion, shitty samurai armor. And speaking of shitty samurai armor, let's move on to Skeletor and his look in this Turtles of Grayskull line. Skeletor is also wearing samurai armor, but where, like, Skeletor's got his, like, Shogun samurai helmet, he's got, like, basically the same style belt as Beastman, only Skeletor has, like, somewhat of a different, no, I don't really think it is the same design, it's just a different paint job, different paint deco, same tooling, same mold. So his is in green and black. So Skeletor's got this, his helmet, his waist and crotch armor. Beastman's got the shoulder pad armor. Skeletor's got the spiky, Shredder-like forearm armor. And honestly, where that's the one thing I will say, where Beastman has, like, the Shogun Samurai battle mask, I will say Skeletor's helmet looks more inspired by Shredder's outfit, because with the spikes replacing what would be the blades on Shredder, it makes perfect sense. And Skeletor also comes with this, like, Havoc staff nunchucks, because he's got the chain, it looks just like nunchucks, except he's got the 2 ram heads from the Havoc staff. But like I said, I'm saying it's dumb samurai armor because, again, I feel like, before I continue, let me say that For this version, for what it is, this version makes total sense because it's crossing over with the Shredder's armor, so it makes sense for this. Back in 2003, with the 2000X He-Man and the Masters of the Universe line that Mattel attempted over 20 years ago that crashed and burned, part of the reason it crashed and burned is because there was too many unnecessary, unwanted, never asked for He-Man and Skeletor variant versions that they only existed because, well, if we make this version of He-Man, we have to make a version of Skeletor to complete the set. You know what I mean? Like, some of these variants should have only been kept to He-Man, and some of the variants should have only been kept to Skeletor. And I feel that the stilt-walking samurai Skeletor was absolutely hideous and dumb, and definitely would have been not purchased by me back in the day when I was totally into that Masters of the Universe line, because it was new and it was like a reboot line. I was all about it. But the variant lines like Arctic Ice He-Man, fuck that shit. Just give me a dope looking He-Man that makes me want to buy it, instead of a stupid version of He-Man that's going to make me look at it and be like, nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? If it wasn't a Turtles of Grayskull version of Skeletor, I probably would have passed on the Samurai Armor Skeletor. But the back of his card, time and time again, Skeletor attempted to destroy He-Man only to fail, until that is the fateful day he crossed paths with an evil alien named Krang. Now with He-Man out of the way, Skeletor's path to controlling the power of Grayskull is finally clear, and the back of Skeletor's card shows him facing off against Donatello. So I do have the North American Turtles of Grayskull Skeletor card, and like I said, he does look pretty badass this time around. And I think the weapon is pretty dope, and the way the green and the black pops is really dope, and it's probably, to me, the only thing that's really saving that figure, because the other one from like 2003, absolutely fucking hideous. But moving on, I will say we got the shell-kicking warrior goddess Teela, and surprisingly, this is one of the first real Teelas I've talked about on the show. Like, for being one of the OG like characters, you know, at a time before She-Ra, she was the only female good character until Queen Marlena was involved. But like, she's such a legendary character with Masters of the Universe. I'm 76 episodes into the show, and I have yet to really show any love to Teela. But I'm gonna tell you right now, that's gonna change, because I'm gonna show some love to Teela over the course of the summer. I don't know if I'm gonna get to her in July. I might get to her in August. More than likely, I'm gonna focus on August, but I will definitely be talking about Teela later on this year in the show. But as Eternia's heroes mysteriously disappear, the mighty Teela is the planet's last line of defense when she meets four brothers who share her warrior spirit, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now armored to the shell, she is more determined than ever to find the last heroes. And the back of her card shows her battling and facing off against Mer-Man, who has an very interesting look with Turtles of Grayskull for two reasons. Number one, this Mer-Man is translucent blue. He's got these creepy red eyes, and with the way he's all translucent and clear blue, you know, he looks more fish-like and aquatic than previous Mer-Man figures that have come out in Origins and even Masterverse. And the Turtles of Grayskull Mer-Man actually found a way for Mattel to repurpose the snake tail attachment that first came out with Lady Slither. The snake tail attachment has been able to be retooled into a mermaid tail attachment. So this version of Mer-Man actually has the Mer-Man tail. So he looks pretty fucking dope. But Teela's facing off against Mer-Man, and Teela's wearing this turtle shell armor that it's kind of interesting because I'm trying to get a really close look at her head sculpt, especially her helmet, because she has this, she's wearing like a Teela version. It's like a, it looks like a cross between the Skeletor and the Beastman, what you would normally look at as a Shogun samurai helmet. But hers also looks more like Man-at-Arms' helmet. So it's like a cross between a samurai helmet and Duncan's helmet, even though Man-at-Arms' helmet kind of looks like a space samurai helmet. But she also has this mohawk of like these 3 yellow fins, but the front of it is also pointy, which I'm wondering, is it pointy like Zor the Falcon? Is it supposed to be like a point, like a beak? So I'm not sure exactly what's going on with that, but she also has these gauntlets on her wrist with turtle shells and blades. So she's got these spiked punches that looks pretty sick, and she also comes with her turtle shell shield, and she comes with a, not a sword, but it's like a giant sai, which, looking at the back of the Beastman card art, is also the same giant sai that comes with Raphael. And if it's not the same one that comes with Raph, it's slightly different, to be different than the one that comes with Raph. But either way, Teela comes with this, and it looks pretty fucking sick. But last but not least, to wrap up Wave 3 of Turtles of Grayskull, we have the one-man weapons rack, Casey Jones. Now, I gotta say, before they showed Casey Jones, I felt like I had the best idea for this Casey Jones figure. And if Mattel goes with my idea for the Casey Jones figure, it would be absolutely sick, because my idea was previously done with the Masters of the WWE Universe line when they put out the New Day, right? When they decided to do Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and Biggie Langston in Masters of the WWE Universe, they didn't do 3 separate figures. What they did was they came up with a way to have 3 different wrestlers, a trio, be one action figure. So what they did was they reused and they took the Manny Faces character and play action gimmick and apply that to the New Day. So we had basically a pink and blue Manny Faces figure that you were able to turn the knob on the top of the head and go from Xavier Woods to Biggie Langston to Kofi Kingston. So, you know, you were able to pick between one of 3 different black men that you wanted your Man-E New Day figure to be, and it was absolutely fucking sick. It was a genius design on Mattel's end, and I'm pretty sure Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, and Biggie Langston got a huge kick out of that shit once they saw it for the first time, because I know it made me pop when I saw the figure on the shelf. So, it had me thinking, if they do Casey Jones, they need to cross Casey Jones over with Manny Faces, because you got no mask Casey Jones, you have hockey mask Casey Jones, and you have variant hockey mask Casey Jones. You have the red, white, and blue American flag Casey Jones but you also have a skull face Casey Jones. So that's what I'm thinking. If you had the no face Casey, the hockey mask Casey Jones, and the skull face Casey Jones, there's your three different faces for Casey Jones that would have totally worked. However, Mattel had different plans, different ideas, and for the most part, you know, I mean, they are the professionals. I will hand it to Mattel, and I will talk about how they pretty much nailed this Casey Jones figure. But before I do that, we're going to take a break. Alright, we're back. Real quick, thank you very much and shout out to Outbreak Monkey and Gold Ribbon Media. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate you guys for allowing me. Well, I appreciate you guys for supporting me, supporting the brand, and in return, I get 2 dope-ass bumpers I get to use on the show every time I need to take a break. So thank y'all for allowing me to bring it back to the content creation. But like I said, you know, Mattel, for the most part, have their design for the Turtles of Grayskull Casey Jones figure, and they knocked it out of the park, because the reality with Casey Jones, okay, he wears a hockey mask, that's one thing, but what else does Casey Jones do? He carries around a golf bag that's filled with weapons that he uses on all the greaseballs and the punkers when he's cleaning up the streets, you know what I mean? And Casey Jones is nothing to fuck with. So Mattel wanted to make sure that was known even in Eternia when he's going toe-to-toe against Skeletor and Hordak and everybody else on the bad guy side. Let them know who the fuck they're dealing with. And basically with Casey Jones, he doesn't have his hockey mask. Instead, he's wearing Ram-Man's mask. Now, normal Ram-Man is just wearing his helmet, his battering ram, his ramming helmet. Now, there's a variant, alternate Ram-Man head that was available in the Classics line. Kinda was available in the 2000X line because they updated and kinda redesigned Rammy to make him look more dope and modern back in 2003. So a lot of those changes with Ram-Man's appearance kind of carried over into Classics and even into Origins as far as alternate heads go. So there's basically a version of Ram-Man where he's got this alternate head where he's got his battering ram helmet, but he's also got like this faceplate protecting his face. And that's what they have on Casey Jones. They have it so the faceplate Ram-Man mask is his hockey mask, and the mask does come off. He does not have to wear it. He does have his regular bare Casey Jones face underneath it, and it's kind of funny because my honest opinion, you take Casey Jones's mask off and he kind of looks like Disney's Aladdin, which I think is kind of funny. But thing is, he's got his Ram-Man mask, but he also has his golf bag, and his crossover is basically taking his golf bag filled with weapons and crossing it over with the Castle Grayskull weapons rack. So all the extra maces and swords and everything else that clips and attaches to the weapons rack that comes with Castle Grayskull, it's supposed to be what's inside Casey Jones's bag. And inside his bag, he has a translucent green taped hockey stick. He's got a translucent green Masters of the Universe axe, like He-Man and Ram-Man's axe. He's got in translucent green. He has a silver katana blade that, to me, looking at it through the packaging, looks just like it's the same thing as Jitsu's orange sword, only it's in silver gray. And he comes with a spear, which is the same spear that comes with like Burger King Randy and Whiplash. And he also, which I think is fucking hilarious, he comes with Triple H's sledgehammer that comes with Triple H's Masters of the WWE Universe figure. And I think that's hilarious. They found a way to repurpose that and include it. But the back of Casey Jones's card art shows him facing off against Mouse Jaw and a squad of Mousers, and the Sorceress is in the background. And real quick too, rewind before I get to the back of his card art, Casey Jones also comes with Jitsu's karate hand. Now, I will say this is not the karate hand that comes with the actual Jitsu figure. This is actually the Jitsu karate hand attachment that came with the Masters of the WWE Universe Mr. T figure, because the Mr. T figure came with the Jitsu hand and the Fisto Fist. He came with both of those because he had like the golden gauntlets that pity fools. But Casey Jones also has that Jitsu hand. But yeah, pretty fucking sick. And it says, back on Earth, Casey Jones fights baddies as a hockey masked vigilante using whatever sports gear he can fit in his bag. Now that he's on Eternia, he just loads up on Castle Grayskull's best battle equipment to join the fight against Krang and Skeletor. So, there you have it. In a nutshell, Turtles of Grayskull, what was left and remaining of my Wave 2, and the rest and what was remaining of my Wave 3. Now, when it comes to future Turtles of Grayskull figures, basically the good news is everything that I talked about, basically everything I've talked about when it comes to Turtles of Grayskull, with the exception of Wave 1, like all the Wave 2 and Wave 3 stuff was stuff that was new at the beginning of this year, and like the Wave 3 stuff was supposed to be the up until the fall release. So I feel like they already got a nice jump start on everything that's been announced so far, because now we're rolling into Wave 4, and when it comes to Wave 4, like, we got a deluxe Master Splinter coming out that's going to have a metal Botto part. We're going to have a deluxe Two-Bop Steady, which is Rocksteady and Bebop getting the Two-Bad gimmick and treatment. He's going to come with a metal Botto part, so the Build-A-Figure will be done with metal Botto, but there's also an April O'Neil figure coming out. There's a Hordak figure coming out. There's a Leatherhead figure coming out. And I'm trying to think of somebody else who should be coming out. But either way, like, right now there's definitely 4 waves of Turtles of Grayskull planned. I don't know how far they're going to continue with it, because they also have the cartoon collection line going out for Masters of the Universe, which is a continuation of Origins, even though it's a spin-off of Origins, because it's basically taking over what used to be Origins retail space at Walmart and Target, because what's left on what is known as Masters of the Universe Origins is like down to its final 11 or 10 figures, and those are all delegated, left over to be released on Mattel Creations. And speaking of Mattel Creations, they just had a Mattel Creations drop last week for Night Stalker, who is the evil mechanical horse counterpart to Stridor that is most oftenly paired with Jitsu, but this time around they're focusing that it's one of Skeletor's rides because Skeletor is on the box art of Night Stalker and it just looks absolutely fucking sick. And one more thing too, speaking of Masters of the Universe Origins, my Reptilax just showed up last week, Friday, the day before my birthday. So he showed up on Big Bad Toy Store and he's gonna be pretty fucking dope. He's another Snake Man. He was never released in the vintage line, but he's new for Origins, so it's pretty fucking dope that I was able to get Reptilax. Now I gotta keep my eye out for Terror, Lord Grasp, and Viper, but I got so much more content coming for Ian versus Daddy Bones. I'm trying to not necessarily reformat, but I'm trying to look at how I do everything going forward. I'm going to be trying my best on doing shorter episodes, and I 1 week at a time. I tried doing it this week. Clearly it didn't happen, but thank y'all very much for your support. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for helping me grow and supporting the brand. And until next time, cheers, Pete!
Fuck Ian Daddy Bones. Fuck Twin Widow, whatever the hell it is. No one gives a shit about you, Ian. Everyone hates you. Fuck off.
Oh my god, I'm so excited, having a banger and you're all invited. Share with friends and I'll see you later. Bring everyone, invite my haters. Throw your hands in the fucking air. Let's push a cripple down a flight of stairs. Got new shit right for your ears. My Hadouken is downright fierce. Rock out with my cock out. Jump around, I got your shout outs. I'm Daddy Bones, no need to panic. Talking riddles like a schizophrenic. 24/7, I got the party. Roofie-roos and whoop-de-doos. Retarded fools with attitudes, bro. Everything's mixed with Bacardi. Glow stick black like tons of bubbles. Titties on bitches, nothing but trouble. Got my pills, ain't no quitter. Pop that shit, here comes my glitter. Not a dancer, I got no skills. Bobbing my head and standing still. Tons of bitches, ravers, goths. Down the fuck and get your salad tossed. It's the greatest thing that you ever saw. Put your hands in the air for a party. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Having a bang and you're all invited. That kid's posing, muscles flexing, trainings dressed like a favorite X-Men. If there's one thing that drives me crazy, you give high fives, but you fucking hate me. Might have rabies, might have herpes. Breastfeed me and you'll have to burp me. I'll be up on stage, throwing out beads, grabbing my dick and spraying my seed all over your face. That's fucking rude. Raise it up and show your boobs. Dance around and go friggin' nuts. Just b-boy stance and light your blunts. Don't be a cunt. Tuck your chain, don't start no shit. Use your brain, it's all a game. Let's play some Yahtzee. Eat Tide Pods and punch a Nazi. Not a dancer, I got no skills. Bobbing my head and standing still. Tons of bitches, ravers, goths. Down the fuck and get your salad tossed. It's the greatest thing that you ever saw. Put your hands in the air for a party. Oh my god, I'm so excited.